Nathan, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Brian
Except
didn't
for
make
the-
an ounce of sense. I'm sorry, but
This is what I have.
I love
know,
Brian, but he moved
yeah.
way too much. We had no idea what he was talking about.
He made me nervous.
Yeah.
Did not really relate to the case. Relevant? Huh, I don't get it. Keep talking about nothing. Repetition. That's what I wrote for Brian. I feel bad, but he didn't say anything that made
Nathan,
sense.
I thought Nathan tried. I wrote believes in sexual
Yeah.
offense and should be punished. He named off watchdog.com.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
I don't know. Nathan did an okay job. I
He could
had
have been louder. That's the only
Yeah, he
thing
didn't
I-
sound too
I don't know.
confident.
And
Confident,
the I don't know part
Yeah.
was a little bit throwing off.
Sierra,
too.
she opened up well, I think, about Megan's Law and the little girl being raped, but she kind of sounded sick. We couldn't really hear.
I don't.
She
She
have
faced the
much-
other way. She was supposed to be facing us.
I didn't
So
have much on Serena because I could not hear her.
yeah.
I could not hear. I was
Yeah, I
right
didn't hear
behind her.
I have something
could
about
not hear
Megan's
her
Law
at
right
all.
now. That's all I have for her.
Pretty much all I got.
Randy
Yeah, I have like what it was made from. That's it.
Randy brought up a good point about the DUI and publicly shamed and that whole thing, but he messed up because he didn't have any proof about the green and pink plates for the sex offenders, so that was overruled, so that kind of hurt him. Weekly flyer, that's hilarious
Yeah.
because nobody wants, that's ridiculous. So I just think that's hilarious.
It's just. I think it's a waste of paper and time. So I think one time's fine enough. But
And, you know, and then I think it was Randy that said, he says, how are we supposed to protect our family and friends? Well, the flyers aren't gonna help
You can
protect
get
your
online.
family.
Yeah, you can
People
get
throw
online.
away
Online,
flyers.
you do what you have to do to be a mother, or part of being a mother, and just watch your
Agree.
kids.
But I mean, like even
Don't
like
blame it on
how they have sex offenders online, they don't have murderers online.
Right.
Yeah, that's even more dangerous than
Yeah.
having living next to
Yeah.
a sex offender.
Yeah, you'd never be able to. You could look up a name, you know, who's
You
been
could look up a
convicted of
name.
it. How would you ever be
If
able to
your
find out
county-
who lives by
But
you?
if your county only has like the online thing, sometimes counties don't have
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Hamilton and Miami County are the only ones that I've ever heard of that even have that.
And that's, you know, just as bad. A murderer is just as bad as a rapist, so why favor, why say we should watch the rapists and have flyers for them? We shouldn't have flyers for them. We shouldn't put them
That's crazy.
in front of our house.
Does
That's
anybody
too crazy, too.
else have
Would never be
anything
able to sell
on the
that.
prosecution side?
that's all I have. I think it would have been greater. If they had more proof or facts.
And I thought if they didn't agree with something, they should have said objection or at least like try and fight back. They just sat there, and I felt like every single one just kind of repeated the same thing of how they want to protect their families and how they want to protect us and protect, and we're
think-
just like, cool,
Like Randy did try to fight a little bit, but
not strong enough.
he wasn't. Yeah.
He is the weakest link.
Said that's wrong though.
The weakest link. Okay, so on the defense side, Stacy, I had brought up the personal story, which I feel like that got everyone's attention. She knew someone who was a sex offender. She said online access or either going to police station, you can find out where they are. 15 years in prison. She mentioned that, which I feel like that got a lot of people's attention because that's a long time to just, for pissing on the street, to be known as a sex offender, to spend 15 years in prison. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like they're already embarrassed as it is. Why embarrass them even more? And I also think the major point that I got from Stacey was she asked the person she knew who was a sex offender, why did they do what they did? And she said out of anger or out of upraising. And she brought up that, everyone should have a second chance.
And she made a good point. If the sex offender was your mom or dad, would you want them to have to go through more than they already have? They've been locked up for however many years. Would that be right? No, it wouldn't. And that would affect you as well as that person. If you've already served your time and you get out and you want to, somebody wants you to do time in your own house, in life, outside,
Right.
everywhere you go, it's bullshit.
Anybody else had anything on Stacey?
No.
Katara, I thought, came out very confident. She quoted, "Don't look at your sex offenders as a sex offender, look at them as a human being." And I thought that was a good opening. everyone can change and everyone should have the chance to change. She brought up skinny dipping qualifies you as a sex offender, people that were dared to do it, innocent young kids. I mean, especially college kids, like that's just, I don't know, I dare you to do that. I would do it. Like I shouldn't be in prison for 15 years.
For just streaking in the backyard.
Yeah,
I
She
think,
also said usually somebody you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, your
Yeah, it's usually someone you know.
attacker or whatever. That's,
And then get where she got it
What's-
from, so.
And she also explained like why sex offenders do it to heal the pain by hurting other people. I thought that was a good point to think about why they did that, and or just like their way of thinking, like, oh, if I, you know, sexually offend this person, I'll feel better myself if I do that. So I thought that was a good point, just to think of another viewpoint of someone.
And then who said not everyone convicted is guilty of a sex offense? It was right after the percentage, like 90%.
I think that was Bruce.
that was
Yeah.
Bruce.
That was really good too, because that's very true.
And then he had then he backed it up by giving us that case of the one girl who was 13 and lied, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he brought up very good points, and the stories helped too.
Bruce didn't have cards.
Did
He
not.
memorized
Yeah,
the
he did
speech,
really
which that
good.
was tight.
That was
He
really good.
was a really good defense person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have cards. He didn't really stumble, and when he did, he corrected himself. He sounded confident. He walked around.
You should go to law school.
He broke down the word sex offender. He gave us the definition of it, which I thought that helped him a lot.
Yeah, he took his time and didn't stumble any.
And he also emphasized the point: once you're on the list, you can't get off.
Yeah.
Which I think that's
I think
Another
that's a little
huge point.
ridiculous too, because like for one thing, it wasn't even the kid's fault. It should be on there for life. Like I understand the 2-year rule, but not life.
and
He was talking about the guy in the Navy.
yeah, he brought
Yeah,
up
you
the
can
join the
go to
military. You can't even join the military if you're on that.
Yeah.
So he brought up 2 really strong cases, which I thought that helped him. Mamie,
Did not have a strong case at all.
yeah,
She crumbled basically with
Because she
the
got all
whole
her facts from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
the whole thing.
I don't think she understands the
computers.
internet.
No.
Yeah.
That's what she told me the last time. She said, I don't get on her computers. And I was like, oh, shit. And then right when she said, you know, when she was saying that in front of everybody, I thought, she doesn't. She doesn't get on computers. That's what she said.
I don't think she wasn't very loud either.
I think it's hard for her to be loud, but she
calm in her vocal cords.
she would have had a very good case if she would have.
Got better facts.
Yeah.
And like if she would have crumbled,
side.
but she could have like saved herself if she just kept going, but she didn't. She's like, oh, I can't say that because it's on Wikipedia. That's what hurt her.
Yeah.
And then she said something like, do you guys know this person or whatever? And then she like
Oh,
stopped.
Scarlett's
Scarlet
letter.
letter.
And then
yeah.
looked at,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that
don't
like
remember the story, but-
I think that hurt
And
her a
then
little
what
bit
was
too.
that thing that she said at the end?
She said something like
Without having for I don't know.
something about
Freedom can't live freely or
Virginia.
something.
Do you know what I'm talking about? She said like it sounded inappropriate, but she was really saying maybe. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yesterday she said something about Virginia, but she didn't say Virginia.
Which that really has nothing to do with it. Okay, so we'd all agreed that.
Oh my god, it was
That
so
was
funny.
really funny.
I heard you guys laughing.
Me and him, like,
I was
me and him.
wow.
Yes, your boy. Me and her looked at each other like, what? Did she really just say that?